I put up a post on the Instagram handle a couple of days ago, and the post was about the breakup message. Now, the breakup message is a really ancient tactic used by salespeople in situations where you reached out to someone before, you guys have had promising conversations, or so it seemed on your own end, and all of a sudden, these people have gone ghost and they are not returning your calls. So that was the whole point of the post that I put up on the Instagram handle, what to do when people are not returning your calls. And one of the scenarios that I looked at was the breakup message and how you can use that particular tactic to get the conversation going again. And that post received some comments, not on the post anyway, because people reached out to me, messages, trying to get behind the whole point of the breakup message in the first place. So apparently, I didn't do a good enough job in the first article on trying to explain the idea, I guess, or show why the idea is relevant. And whenever I receive feedback like this on particular items, I like to make follow ups just so that if there are other people who had misconceptions about it, or if I didn't properly explain the idea, the follow up basically would help to clarify the confusion and also to shed more light on the matter. And so that's the reason why I'm making this recording today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this conversation in two parts, because if I run us through what the breakup message is and then start addressing the complaints that I received in my inbox, we're going to go well beyond the 10-15 mark, which I like to allocate for recordings these days. So this is what I am going to do instead. I'll split this up into two episodes. The first episode will be to introduce you guys to the breakup message. That's for those of you who are not familiar with it. And then in tomorrow's episode, we'll go into the feedback, the responses that I got in the direct messages, and we'll take it from there. So now, what do you do when people are not returning your calls? So the brunt of my article was this, basically. I've received some messages in the past from people that I've been talking to about not wedding related. I mean, in this case, I'm the one who's the customer, and then somehow conversations fall off track, and then I get the "is everything okay" message. So it's something I've done in the past, and now that it has happened to me a couple of times, I've been on the receiving end of the "is everything okay" messages a couple of times. I'm assuming that there are a couple of you who are listening to the podcast right now who have fallen to that as a default. So it looked like we were having a nice conversation. I'm not hearing from you. Is everything okay? Now, if you haven't sent that message, don't laugh. Don't deride those of us who have used it in the past. I know it sounds whiny and pathetic, but it is what it is. Some of us have done that in the past. But one of the options that has been used by salespeople traditionally is to do what some people would call the breakup message. Basically, send a message to say that I'm breaking up with you, and that's supposed to be a way of guilting people back into the conversation. So I still think that the breakup message has utility. I still think it has value, and there are some people who use it successfully, and this is the way that I choose to use the breakup message. Because since we've had a lot of conversations on the podcast about qualifications frameworks, you realize that for me, it's a big thing that we have to be sure that the person was really interested in the first place. Because it's possible that interest may have moved, and then it's also possible that circumstances may have changed. Because there's sometimes that it looks like people are ghosting you, but it's just that circumstances have changed. Personal circumstances, career circumstances. I mean, you never know. And then all of a sudden, that thing that seemed like it was a hot priority is no longer a priority anymore. So let's say there's been a tragedy in the family, and they're not that keen on the wedding anymore. So, at that point, the joy has been taken out of the whole situation. So whether they get you to be their wedding photographer or not, right now is not really their cup of tea, because of the way they feel. Anybody will do, because there's been a death in the family. So things like that happen, and then sometimes people ghost you because they've lost their phone number, for instance. That has happened to me, and I got in touch with the bride, but of course by then it was too late. That was back when I didn't have a system for managing contacts with my customers. So at the time I called her, it was really, really too late. She was like, "Oh, yeah, it was nice. I lost my phone number. This, that. We hadn't exchanged any emails anyway. So, but this was a long time ago. So, back when having to get a new SIM was a real. I mean, it was lots of wahala. I can't remember the whole process, but I think something about the police report and all the hassles you'd have to go through just to get things returned, and you wouldn't be able to recover your data, because I think now you can recover like the last 5 transactions. No, not transactions. What do you call it? Anyway, that was back when getting your SIM back would be a hassle. So there are lots of reasons why people are ghosting you or they're not returning your phone calls, and the truth is you never know. So I decide just to be real charitable about it. I just assume that circumstances have changed or that the people are no longer interested. And so I send a breakup message that leaves those two options intact. So the breakup message would be something like, "Hey, Chiamaka, I haven't heard, I've reached out to you a couple of times, I haven't heard from you. So I'm going to assume that either circumstances have changed or having me as the wedding photographer is no longer a priority. Either way, I'm not going to be reaching out again, except if you call first. Best of luck with the wedding planning. Have a wonderful day." Something like that. You don't have to use the exact words, but that's pretty much the gist. So both options have been laid out in the email. So the goal is not to guilt people into replying, but the thing is this: if people don't respond, then in my own opinion, I think just let it go, because you've done the best that you can. You're not in control of all circumstances. There's no such thing as a guaranteed sale. So once you've done everything that you can do, and it looks like everything is going into voicemail, just let it go and then move on. Now, the good thing is sometimes people do respond, like the bride who says, "Oh, I lost my phone number," even though that was too late. But wouldn't it be a good thing if the person responds like, "I lost my phone number," and then now you guys are back on track? Or the person says, "Oh, circumstances have changed because my uncle is saying this, and he wants to gift me a wedding planner for the day. So that's the reason why I didn't call you, because I was thinking." See, the thing is, if they respond, no matter what they say, the thing is now you have new information and you're able to get this thing back on track. So if she says, "I lost my phone," then the next thing is, are you still interested? If they are still interested and there's still time, then that's good. You're back on table. If she says, "My dear, there's been some changes, or my uncle is saying he wants to gift me a wedding planner for the day," then there's new information. You're going to be able to get back on the table as well. You can now ask, like, "Okay, were you really interested in having me as your wedding planner, or would any wedding planner do?" If she says, "Well, any wedding planner will do," then perhaps you can able to assess your options and realize have a hard think about whether this is worth fighting for or not. But if she says, "Oh no, I was really keen on having you do it," then you know that maybe your next play is, "Okay, so why don't you just hook me up with your uncle? Let's talk about this." So whatever contribution he was going to make to the other wedding planner, he might as well just channel it through me, since I'm the wedding planner that you really want to handle your occasion. Now, I'm not saying that this is the sales play that you should go about if you're trapped in this particular kind of circumstance. I'm just trying to show that no matter the response that you get to this message, you have some new information and you'll be able to decide if you're back on track and how to get back on track. And so that's the whole point of the breakup message, and that's how I choose to use it, just to put those options out there on the table, whether circumstances have changed, and to gauge whether the person is still interested. And so that's how I choose to use the breakup message, and not to try and guilt people into responding. And that definitely is better than the "Are you okay" message that some of us have sent in the past, or some of us may still currently be sending to prospective brides and grooms, prospective customers. Let's just assume that we're not only wedding industry professionals who are listening to this particular episode. So I'll cap it off here because we're close to the 10-minute mark, and let's leave this as the introduction to the breakup message. So for those of you who are aware about the breakup message, this is how I choose to do it. For those of you who are hearing this for the very first time, I hope that this has been a useful introduction for this particular tactic to try and revive conversations where people have gone ghost on you. So what we're going to do at tomorrow's recording is I will jump into the DMs, and then we'll discuss some specific concerns that folks may have had about the breakup message and about how I propose that it should be used. And then hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to bring it up. We'll be able to wrap it up and then return back to our the previous conversation track that we're on. I can't remember right now, but I'll look around for my scribbles and hopefully I wrote it down somewhere, the last conversation that we stopped on. So that's it for today. Thank you very much, guys, for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based event and wedding photographer, Tavishima Ayede. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.